Welcome to Discovering. As we roll further into spring, the list of outdoor activities continues to grow. Trout season is open, now walleye and pike. Camping is right around the corner, and we're in the middle of turkey season. We'll join the turkey team as they head out in search of a longbeard.
It was a good thing I wasn't shooting because I was shaking like a leaf, boy.
Then we'll meet with DNR Fisheries Chief Jim Dexter along with some of our wildlife biologists and a look at the Faithorn Fun Run. That's all tonight, so take a break. It's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
There are indeed a variety of ways to hunt turkey. On today's hunt, we've got Darren Grondin, the caller, Cody Whitens, the hunter, and Jason Whitens on the camera. Just add turkey.
Well, me and Cody, we've been going since daylight. We heard, what, 2 gobbles? We've been from Bagley to Perrineville, and
yep, so it was a struggle this morning.
we were just about to call it quits, and I come and check one more spot, and this guy and his girlfriend are out here. So I did the turkey breakup on him. Went around and set up on him. Started calling, he gobbled 3-4 times, and he comes strolling right down through the field, right to our setup and decoy, and
it couldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
Especially for being at noon. You know, turkeys usually, they're not that active, but if you could catch them where the hens are going to nest, like we kind of did, got an opportunity to have this gobbler find that hen, and it was actually us.
It was an awesome hunt. There we go, baby. Come on. Sweet brother. 41. He got a nice beard, 9-inch beard. He's got big hooks on him.
Yeah, beautiful.
He come in strutting, and oh man, there's nothing better than this turkey hunting, boy.
And I'm sure it's exciting because you've been hunting this bird, I'm sure, a few times. Not much?
Yeah, I scoot and shooted him once, and that didn't work out, but I never called at him yet. And
well, you came in
yeah,
on a line.
But came out to one of my favorite spots. It's just absolutely gorgeous piece of land out here. The gentleman lets me hunt out here. I got to give him some walleye fillets, but that don't matter. He's a very nice guy, and I'm just glad to take Cody with. I always look forward to his phone call, and he's another one that my brother Curtis got started.
If it weren't for people like this bringing other hunters out, I would have never got started in turkey hunting, or a lot of other people wouldn't have. So,
no,
gotta give thanks to Darren and Curry Joe, who taught us how to do this stuff, you know, because you won't ever live this stuff down.
No.
It's very exciting, and
that's better than deer hunting, I think.
Definitely.
I'm glad I always take Cody hunting. I always have a blast. He gets mad because he don't get the call, but that's okay.
No.
He gets to shoot.
That's the thing. You make memories that you'll never live down, and I'm just very grateful that I had the opportunity to learn how to turkey hunt from Darren and from Curry Joe, and that's stuff that I'll never forget in my lifetime, so that means the world to me.
Yeah, and this is what, our second longbeard together?
Yep.
Yeah.
Second one.
Oh.
Just the start of many more, that's for sure.
That is for sure. Great bird.
Thanks Darren a lot for bringing us out, and
I'm just glad you hit him.
Yeah,
it was a good thing I wasn't shooting, because I was shaking like a leaf, boy. Calling him in.
That's awesome.
But we worked at her today, boy. He's got some hooks on him, boy. Boy, he looked pretty coming through there, hey? Dude, that was sweet. I'm tired.
I recently had the opportunity to meet with DNR Fisheries Chief Jim Dexter and talk a bit about the status of our fishery here in the UP and across the state.
Well, it's great to be up here in the Upper Peninsula. I love coming up. There are so many different recreational opportunities, but as Chief of Fisheries, I have to extol the great world-class fisheries that we have. We've got a lot that's going on right now in the Upper Peninsula. We've just finished our walleye egg take on Bay d'Noc. It was very successful, collected about 20 million eggs. Once those eggs hatch up, they'll be distributed to ponds across the Upper Peninsula. We've got various partner groups that help us rear these fish, get them out into the water so that we can continue our great walleye fisheries that we have. One of the things that we're really excited about is we now have an opportunity to do some upgrades at our Thompson State Fish Hatchery. Those upgrades will include ponds and a cool water facility and some upgrades to the interior of the hatchery so that we can rear more steelhead, more walleye, and more muskies that will all be distributed across the state and throughout the Upper Peninsula. That's a great project, and we expect to have fish in the ponds, fish going out into the waters for our anglers to catch probably in about 2020. The Great Lakes this year should be good fishing. I'm forecasting good fishing. If we start down in Lake Michigan, we've got a pretty good year class of alewives that are coming off the water from last year, and the fish that we're seeing so far are very healthy. The early spring fishery in the Southern Lake has been great for coho, fish up to 5-6 pounds. Steelhead fishing across Lake Michigan waters and its tributaries has really been spectacular. Very healthy and robust fish. Lake Superior is a great place to go fishing too. It's a wonderful lake trout fishery. We've also got good opportunities for coho, and some Chinook salmon. We've recently just reduced our stocking to zero for Chinook salmon. There are no more salmon being stocked in Lake Superior, but that's okay because we've got a great native fishery. They're spawning on their own, they reproduce successfully, and that's providing and fueling the entire fishery. We just completed a study on Lake Superior where we looked at angler catches for 4 years, and 99% of the fish that were being caught, Chinook salmon, were natural fish. So that's a good thing. I can now put those resources to other uses, such as habitat improvement, which will further increase natural reproduction in our waters. Our staff are just finishing up our local coffee and conversations that we have around the Upper Peninsula. Those are opportunities for interested anglers and citizens to come in and talk to our staff, to find out what's going on in their local area, and something that's very important to us is to roll out proposals for potential future regulations. One of the things that I'd like to remind anglers is that we have a 2-year fishing guide. So the guide that you bought last year for 2016 is still good for 2017. That was an effort to not change regulations as much, and it also gives the staff more time to work on their proposals, meet with constituents, and see what they would like to see with their fisheries. So we'll be having a suite of regulations coming forward this summer that will go to the Natural Resource Commission for consideration. Things that people have been hearing about, one of the things primarily up here in the Upper Peninsula is potential to move Type 1 streams to a 10 brook trout bag limit. That's been a hot subject for a number of years now. We're working up our information, and we will be bringing a proposal to the Natural Resource Commission likely this fall. A lot of folks have probably heard that there's very little action going on right now with cormorant control in the Great Lakes, and that's a big issue. Michigan is ground zero for the number of cormorants in this particular flyway. We used to have hundreds of thousands of cormorants, but through control activities over the last 15 years, those numbers have come down significantly. In the Bays-Denok area, that's one of the biggest populations in the Great Lakes, and that number is now down to where it's manageable. Our ability to manage cormorants is certainly not what it used to be. There needs to be some additional work done by the federal government and the states to allow that continued activity to reduce the cormorant population. All we're allowed to do at this point right now is harass cormorants when they're around where we're stocking fish, and we're going to continue to work with the federal government on that and our partners. We have partners all around the state that assist in those stocking areas to harass birds so that they're not eating the expensive fish that you're paying for. So I grew up fishing in northern Michigan. My grandparents had a place in Lewiston, a little small lake, and I started fishing. When I was 3, I caught my first fish. It was a legal-sized pike, and I was too afraid to hold the darn thing. But I became enamored with fish, and at a very young age realized I wanted to work with fish or wildlife. So I went to college and got a degree in fisheries management, and my dream was to be a technician or a biologist working out in the field. And I did that for almost 20 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Worked in Indiana, I worked for the National Park Service in Shenandoah in Virginia, worked for Michigan State in various areas around the state, but I wanted to get back to where I am from. I'm from Michigan. I was born and grew up in the Detroit area. But fishing has always been a huge part of my life, and that's what I wanted to do. And I thoroughly enjoyed my field work, but opportunities came up. And it's not that I really wanted them. I never really wanted to be a manager. I never wanted to be a basin coordinator. And I certainly wasn't looking to become the fisheries chief. But when those opportunities present themselves and you see that you can potentially have a large effect on the resources of the state, I couldn't resist it. And one of the things that I've learned over the past 15 years as being a manager and now chief of fisheries is I thoroughly enjoy working with the public and with my staff. And that if I can help them through my leadership abilities to do good things on a broad scale, that's really better for the state of Michigan rather than just myself being out there perhaps netting some fish on a really nice day, which is still fun to do when I can get out and do that.
Occasionally I get the chance to run into some of our DNR biologists and technicians and find out a bit more about what they do and who they are. I recently met up with DNR Wildlife Technicians Caleb Eckloff and Ryan Mcgillviary.
I'm the wildlife technician out of the Crystal Falls Field Office. Some of my main responsibilities would include habitat projects on state lands. So some of our habitat projects, such as our GEM project, and I'm primarily responsible for the GEM in Ralph, Michigan. and we're up there all the time doing habitat projects and doing trails and plantings in the openings. We also conduct wildlife surveys throughout the year. We are currently in our January moose survey. We're just about wrapping that up, and we do an aerial moose survey where we're counting the number of bulls, calves, and cows that we see out there, and then that goes back into a database. In my free time, I spend a lot of time hunting, fishing, and trapping. I grew up in Kingsford, Michigan, so I was fortunate enough to grow up in one of the counties that I work in, so I know the area very well, and I enjoy doing that on my free time, so it's a privilege to be able to do what I do on my free time and come to work and do the exact same thing.
My primary role here in Marquette as the wildlife technician for the DNR is to implement a lot of habitat projects. Wildlife surveys are another big part of what I do. One of the more enjoyable surveys that I have the privilege of being a part of is waterfowl banding here in the Great Upper Peninsula, where we actually go out and are able to band ducks and geese during the summer months. Another really big survey that I'm just getting into, and I'm starting on down the coordination path, so I will be a part of the moose survey for many years to come, hopefully. Beyond that and what I do in the DNR, I'm a big outdoorsman. I was born and raised here in Marquette, so I am very fortunate to be able to call my workplace my home, where I was born and wish to remain for the duration of my career. So for any sportsmen and women out there, feel free to stop into the office and talk to me. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you, tell you where I like to go grouse hunt, or where I'd like to take the bow and sit in a tree or on the ground to hopefully see a deer and maybe, just maybe, get a shot and fill the freezer. But it's all a part of just being outside and managing our natural resources. So that's why I enjoy my job and what I'd like to discuss with you if you ever have a chance to run into me.
This time of year in the UP means an entirely new set of activities fills the calendar. Fishing, canoeing, camping, the list goes on. All of these activities have at least one thing in common. They get us into the outdoors. Another ever-increasing way to get into the woods is by ATV. I'll leave you with a look at the Faithorn Fun Run along with the stop at the roaring Pemmican Falls on the Menominee River.
Starting off at the Long Branch in Faithorn, and we just take the river road. We go to Trapper's Cabin first, and then we'll take the river road to go see Pemmican Falls, down Chalk Hills, and we'll hit the loop, come back around 7 Mile Road. And I'm gonna have a little bonfire in the middle of the ride, so everyone, if they get wet on the trails, will dry off and hang out and visit, meet new friends. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and the first year it started with 8-10 buddies. Next year it got maybe 20 bikes, and the year after that I got 30, and now I think we're over around 50 bikes now. And I don't know, it's just a good time. Basically, I put it on Facebook, and whoever wants to come, four-wheeler, dirt bike, side-by-side is whoever, and everyone shows up. And we got some people coming from Deep here, Cedar River, Escanaba, Iron Mountain, Aurora, so they're coming all over the place to just come here for a ride in the afternoon. The trail is not very long. I mean, it's just 25-30 miles through the woods. It takes a while to go through everything, and we ended up at the Long Branch, and we got soup and sandwiches they're gonna put on, and it's just a nice day to get out and hang out with friends and stuff.
Well, that's it for tonight. If you'd like to keep tabs on what's coming up on Discovering or see where we've been, go to 906outdoors.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week right here on Discovering.